Hi, let's dive right back into our Power of Nonfiction unit by starting at session 10, which is kind of where we left off in class. And I think it's really important to have this skill as a reader, writer, researcher, thinker, whatever it is. When you're reading a text, you need to be able to quickly summarize it by identifying what's most essential, right? What's the main point of this? And can I briefly kind of regurgitate that or put it back into my own words that include the few important details, right, that you're supposed to take out. So we are going to start today with session 10. You're sticking with your same research topic unless you're like, Miss Mosley, I hate it so much and I'm able to catch up. Email me with that, okay? But let's get started by kind of reviewing how to summarize a text, okay? We should read an entire text or a big chunk of the source and think, okay, what's standing out? What's the author trying to teach me? And then what are the main ideas that are supporting that? Okay, let's practice first and then I'll go over your assignment. No, I'm not going to make you reread this entire article because we've read it 1,000 times in class and we'll be referencing that in the next few sessions together anyway. So as a reminder, we read The Battle Over GMOs in class. We looked at the text features, right? Title, subtitle, pictures, captions, all of the things that we needed to really absorb or orient ourselves to the text. We did all of that together. We read through our text, noticing again the text features on the back, but really, after reading, we asked, what's the central idea? What is the author trying to teach me here? And we came up with people feel very different ways about GMOs, right? There is controversy over GMOs. Central idea, great. Now I need to have 2 to 3 main details or main ideas that support this. And if I'm talking about how people feel differently, I need to have both feelings or both sides of that argument represented, right? Our article is called The Battle Over. We know that this is not a one-sided article. We know that both sides of the argument are represented. So I could go back and I could quote, the student, Lena, who is not a fan of GMOs. I could go back and quote about the salmon that was modified to grow almost twice as much as a regular salmon. But that's not really the point. I'm not looking for statistics or specific details or quotes. I'm looking for big ideas that support, okay? So we're going to kind of summarize those before we even copy down our quotes. So if our central idea is people feel very different ways about GMOs, one main idea is that some think GMOs can solve world problems, right? That goes back to the salmon that's genetically modified. That goes back to people thinking that GMOs can create more food or more crops that survive in unlikely terrain, or protecting plants or crops to grow that usually die from insects or pesticides, anything like that. So really there are a lot of positives that's represented. I'm not going to quote that. I'm summarizing it. Okay? I have one side of the argument represented. I need the other. And we came up with many people think GMOs are harmful, because that was both sides of this, right? Some people think this is the answer to the problem that we've been worried about the whole time, right? GMOs can solve these issues. Other people are like, we don't know enough about it yet. We think that they're harmful. Okay? Central ideas, main ideas that support it. The next step is putting it all together in a very brief summary, and I link these kind of segmented sentences with transition phrases. So we did this example in class together, and I want to read it out loud to you so you can kind of see the transition phrases that link those ideas, right? The author teaches that people feel very different ways about GMOs. You start with the central idea, right? She begins by explaining that many people think GMOs are harmful to people and the environment. And then she goes on to say that others think GMOs can end world hunger. I don't need to include my opinion. I don't need to include statistics or quotes in a summary. It's basically saying, what's the main point? right? And we do that in 3 to 4 sentences. Central idea, 2 big details that support, okay? What I want to do is recap a little bit of what we just did, because you know I like my sticky notes. I need to get as many uses out of them as I can, right? So again, our point today in our practice is we're crafting a brief summary after we read a text. And the first step that you should do after you finish reading is ask, what's the author's central idea? What are they teaching me? Then, what are the main ideas that support it? 2 to 3. Step 3, say back the central and main ideas in a short paragraph. Short paragraph, okay? And we link them all together with these transition phrases. You can acknowledge the author and it links it really nicely. I've included this anchor chart or resource in our assignment, which is what I want to show you next, okay? So on Google Classroom, you go to your research text sets, you find a source that you haven't read yet, or maybe you want to reread it because it's been a long time. That's fine. Go back there and choose, right? But session 10 is the assignment today. What you're going to do as it loads. Okay. You are going to summarize that text. So you can either add the title or the website, whatever it is here, right? Copy and paste that. That's fine. After you're done reading it, I want you to jot down the central idea. What's the author teaching you? And then I want you to write down 2 or 3 details that support the central idea you came up with, okay? The last part, summarize it. That's it. And if you're like, I forgot and I don't want to rewatch this very long video, cool. I included those resources at the bottom, right? Here are your steps that you should take. And here are some really great transition phrases you can use, okay? If you have any questions or concerns, please email me or comment on this. I turned on my notifications, so I'll be able to respond as quickly as possible. Okay, if you have any questions, please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out, and we will speak again soon. Okay, bye.